Welcome back to another episode of Exploring the American Identity. I'm your host, Emerson the Explorer, and I'm here today ready to dive into some complicated ideas surrounding the American identity. We're going to be looking into the fact that in American society, there's a tendency to prioritize material goods and wealth over one's personal happiness. So let's get our maps ready to chart and head into the unknown. Let's start by taking a look at a few pieces of media and literature that we have discussed this year to really get a view of the wider landscape. So, let's begin. Many years ago, Henry David Thoreau, a member of the Transcendentalists, took a look around and made some great observations. In one of his works, Economy, he really got to the heart of it. He asserted that society valued goods and products over personal connections, and in turn, happiness and contentment. Further, he claims that excess luxury holds us back, keeping us from finding the true meaning and peace in life. Moreover, he affirms that the superficial need for material wealth keeps American society from focusing on larger problems and elevating mankind. Overall, it's clear that he was aware that society was hyper-focused on possessions rather than happiness. Now that we've taken a look at Henry David Thoreau, let's turn to the other side of the river and look into The Great Gatsby and see how the greed for wealth really impacts people. Throughout Gatsby, it becomes crystal clear to the reader that wealth does not inherently equal happiness. Daisy lives in a life of luxury, yet she seems to lack any real joy. As a woman in the 20s, she knows that she's barred from any true autonomy, and no amount of glittering pearls will ever be able to change that fact. Gatsby, a man of almost unimaginable wealth, is clearly stuck in his own past. He keeps reaching out for joy and contentment in the form of Daisy. He attempts to win her over with diamonds and silken shirts, and yet it will never be enough. His own destructive, obsessive nature, never fully hidden by his wealth, creates a larger divide between the two of them. Others in Gatsby, too, are kept from being fully content because of their wealth. It's clear throughout the novel that wealth and luxury does not immediately guarantee happiness. In fact, some sacrifice their own happiness in order to obtain wealth. How tragic. Well, that's just what some literature tells us. But let's take a look at some actual interviews with our high school correspondent, Simon.
Thank you so much for the introduction. I'm here currently with a group of high school students to get some real live opinions and takes on this very important topic. So I want to start off by asking you guys a quick question. To what extent do you agree with the statement that high schoolers are focused on materialism? And tell us why. Well, I strongly agree, because I hear people all the time talking about how they only want to pursue a job because it makes money. People are losing sight of what makes them happy so that they can earn more money. But I can't say I'm no different, because money makes the world go round. Wow, thanks for that response. That was super insightful. But what about you? What do you think? Yeah, well, I think trends are kind of useless and a total waste of money. But the reason we even have trends to follow is because society deems them important. So while I personally think we should focus on what makes us happy, there's this perception that having stuff makes us happy. Wow, I didn't even think about trends. That's actually super duper relevant. Oh my gosh, dude, that was really deep. Personally, I wish we could pursue our passions. But, I don't even know if that's possible. Because everyone knows that nowadays, people can't even afford to buy a house. You need to make more and more and more money each year just to survive. So, how can you focus on going after what makes you happy when you're forced to be focused on getting by? It's almost as if you have to be materialistic. Wow, thank you guys. Those were some really insightful responses. I'm going to send it back to you now.
Wow, those responses were certainly eye-opening. Thank you to our participants and, of course, Simon. To me, it seems like the general consensus is that we culturally place value on wealth and materials, and yet there's a more personal desire to move away from that standard. Quite fascinating, no? Before we go, I would like to leave you with this. Are things just a way to hide our own unhappiness and discontent? a superficial standard that only puts a band-aid on a more pressing problem. Seems to me that the unhealthy prioritizing of wealth has been an issue throughout America's existence. The true question I would like to ask you is if that can ever change. Thank you for tuning in to the latest episode of Exploring the American Identity. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss anything new. If you have any comments or questions, leave them down below so I can hear what you have to say. I'll see you next time on Exploring the American Identity, where we'll head down the river and look deeper into the American identity. See you next time.